think it's the rarity, though. Like, in that moment, he's kind of like, okay, Kendrick is doing something in which he's trying to make himself as scarce as possible, so when he does pop out, it matters. And he's always been a master of that. You know, it's like Thug is the opposite of that. Thug has had a bit of a hard time managing that because he just drops all the time. He does features with whoever. But, I mean, even in that right there, I feel like that is kind of like a mask-off moment because you're realizing that young Thug, who acts like he's so much better than everything and above everything, is still thinking about Instagram likes.
And the little petty shit that come with the game. I honestly think that this is one of the better phone call leaks because I ain't gonna lie, I am kind of happy that he kind of like forcing Kendrick hand to like, yo, go do some charity work for some of these rappers in the game. Like, nigga, why how come you ain't putting niggas on though? That's the real question we want to know. Like, why are you being so stingy? Like, that rarity shit is cool or whatever, but it ain't really doing shit. So I'm with Thug on this one. I feel like Kendrick, if you're gonna sit there, like the whole point of the Drake diss, he was trying to say that Drake's a culture vulture and all this type of shit. But like at the end of the day, Drake done turned people's families into like some millionaires, you know what I'm saying? Put a lot of money in people's pockets. So for you to be sitting there attacking a man that's doing that while you ain't really doing too much, it's kind of like, I mean, lame if you ask me.
The crazy thing about it to me is that Thug is right that his project would be turned up by Kendrick making an appearance on it. But also, he's also right in saying that Kendrick needs to be doing stuff like coming out and doing a song with him and Lil Baby at that time, and that would be a good look. The same way that like Kendrick popping out on the Cardi project was a really good look for him. Probably exposed him to way more. But Kendrick's overstaying in the game. He knows that doing a song with Thug and Baby is maybe not the most lit possible look, but at that moment, appearing on the Cardi album was the biggest thing that he could have done outside of dissing Drake.
But then he hopped on the Future Metro Boomin song and really, so that was just like...
And that was a moment too, but that also was very strategic because that was him sort of cracking off the beef and making it clear that he was on this side of the fence. Oh, Future Metro Boomin, you want to take aim at this dude? Yeah, all right, I'm down.
It's funny to think about that we got an Atlanta artist calling him out for not working with people, but then he worked with Future and Metro Boomin to create this whole diss against Drake with Atlanta artists. So that's the funny
circle. Also, Drake owes some money too. Didn't somebody write for Drake? And, you know, was that Daylight?
We don't know.
Detail, you probably talking about the dude Detail.
Daylight is a TV
back to back.
Affiliate.
Back to like somebody claim they wrote back to back, right?
No.
Daylight.
He's talking about
back to back was in response to the allegations that he had a ghostwriter. Basically, Meek Mill leaked the fact that Drake had used ghostwriters, and then back to back was basically Drake spraying at him.
So nothing with Daylight.
Daylight is a TDE affiliate.
Yeah, nothing with. He said that it was inspired by AR-Ab, like that the Philly battle rapper. He said he was spamming a lot of that at the time, and that was the energy he wanted to kind of bring to the booth. But you guys, to me, are skipping over the fact that Kendrick doesn't fucking need Thug. Kendrick doesn't need any of these dudes, and he knows that. Thug is complaining about Kendrick not popping out and doing features with people like him, Baby, 21 Savage, although I think that would be ill. When before this, he dropped Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. And the features on that album were great. Everything sonically was in tow. It was a great album. He doesn't need these guys on his shit. He's bigger than all of them.
That album, objectively, you know, many critics said it was a great album. As far as how much noise it made in the streets, I would say close to zero. That album came and went. We were podcasting all through it. Nobody gave a fuck.
And that's what Young Thug basically was saying. He was saying like, all right, yeah, you got your hip hop fans, like your core hip hop fans that fuck with your music and shit. But if you start fucking with us, you're gonna get the streets fucking with you. He basically thinking, he's saying like, yo, like you ain't really got the street fan base. You should come fuck with us, come fuck with Dirk, come fuck with Lil Baby, which is funny. Like he's like, oh, we're the people that you need to tap in with to get the streets. I think that's funny, but I don't think. I think Kendrick Lamar kind of do need to. Not even necessarily, even if it's those three people they name, but like I feel like he do need to tap in. I feel like a lot of people like outside the West Coast and shit and mainstream hip hop, people ain't really listening to Kendrick like that.
Yeah,
keep it real.
And I'm gonna be real on the West Coast. I don't feel like people were listening to Kendrick for like 10 years there.
Cause he started doing the weirdo rap.
Exactly. He put out Good Kid, Mad City, was one of the greatest albums of all time, and then everything after that for a significant period of time just really was not directed at the streets in any way. So you might have got a good Anthony Fantano review. But in terms of LA, I remember when
I know.
Mr. Morales dropped.
Yeah,
I'm sitting there doing a podcast with House Phone and AD. You know how much they had to say about the album? Fucking nothing. They said, "Oh, that's a good project." Nobody was like really genuinely picking it apart or really diving into that shit in the way that we all dove into GNX. So that's why a lot of people on the West Coast that act like they're these big time Kendrick supporters, it's like, bruh, you are
West
full
Coast
of
people not into the
shit.
backpack rap though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I feel as well, because in the barbershop, fools were shitting on that shit. But at the same time, like, Kendrick popped out on Drake the way he did, and everybody was acting like it was, the second coming of the Messiah. But I'm like, y'all don't really fuck with Kendrick like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I still stand on my statements that Kendrick really doesn't need any of these guys to make good music to sell out. I've been to Kendrick shows, bro. That shit is real in real life. And when you got that kind of status and position, like you said, he's very strategic. I'm going to pop out when it benefits me. I don't give a fuck about what you got going on. I'm a better artist, a better rapper, a better everything than what you got going on.
But Young Thug in that clip is kind of showing me that he actually understands the game and that he's actually like someone who could be an A&R, because he clearly like has a strategy in mind for Kendrick that would be effective and that also would benefit him. But at the same time, I think you're seeing a little bit of how Young Thug has this tunnel vision where to him, Kendrick doing a song with Moneybagg Yo is a good idea. I don't think anybody else has ever even thought about that. I mean, granted, like J. Cole goes and does a song with Moneybagg Yo. That was a good moment for both of them. But it's just like Thug just has like a perspective on this shit that doesn't really allow for him to see the total view of everything that could have possibly happened, you know?
He not knowing Kendrick don't even care. He don't wear jury. He just
Yeah, you do.
Kendrick.
He popped out with a big ass Malcolm X chain during all this.
The
Jesus,
That's a recently.
Yeah, we were actually all really surprised by how much jewelry he seemed to own because he kept popping out with different chains.
Like
and then they got the craziest chains out right now.
Was that the like some Nipsey tribute type thing?
So
Nipsey had the Malcolm X.
Probably,
he had the A, and everyone thought he got the A for the A minor to diss Drake. Did you see? I
remember that, yeah.
So that was one of the new chains he got. Then he got some crazy ass cross, and everybody was like comparing his diamonds with Jalen Hurts and shit. So like, I ain't gonna lie, he been popping out with some crazy pieces.
But he had the Malcolm X one too at one point. Like, he's the kind of guy who like he gets a chain, and like a normal rapper is gonna kind of like post a picture of it, and like he'll just wait for the moment to like when he has a moment, he just is gonna rock that shit and just make everybody flip out.
You feel like he don't rock jury, or he wasn't rocking jury?
No, he wasn't in the beginning. Like,
but because of LA culture though, because y'all niggas be taking chains and shit out here. So he like, man,
nah, he ain't worried about that. Kendrick,
yeah, bro.
Nah, Kendrick ain't worried about his chains.
He be pulling up to the yoga and Pilates class somewhere in the cut, bro.
So you feel like Kendrick above getting his chain took? I mean,
nah, ain't anybody could be robbed.
Why don't you take that shit?
No, anybody could be robbed.
Word.
That's why when said he was like with the Pee Wee Roscoe dude, you got robbed. Anybody could be robbed, bro. Like,
word.
And if you get money like that, get that shit up, because they go leave with it whether you try to get up or not. Go pop your lights out, but nah. I didn't think Kendrick got into the jury thing.
How do you think Drake feels about all this?
He's loving it.
Validated, super duper validated with everything he's been saying about Kendrick for the longest time.
About this right here or his.
He probably wish he could share, but the fact that everybody calling on Thug a snitch, he can't even.
Yeah, it's like Thug saying all these narratives that Drake would have loved for Thug to have said 6 months ago, but instead it's the newly blemished Thug saying these things, the newly compromised Thug that people are now going to be looking at a little bit differently. But it's still, I think, very, very valuable for Drake to have Thug putting out these narratives that he for sure would love for everybody in the rap game to seize upon and utilize, you know?
And the fact that Young Thug actually didn't put it out and this was just a genuine leak is even better for for Drake, because it's like, damn, like Thug didn't think this phone call was going to come out to the public. So the fact that he's basically validating Drake for putting everyone on and doing some genuine shit and making Kendrick look like the hater. I know Drake's looking at that as a W.
He for sure knows that he's rocking with him, like, the long way. I feel like Drake's probably not going to throw away Thug. Like, even you said you're hesitant to call him a snitch. I feel the same way since Pee Wee came out and said, like, he didn't snitch on me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm trying to have his back. You know, there's been a lot of people who like allegedly told over the years, and I've kind of just, shied away from like actually acknowledging that is how they are now viewed. But it almost feels like we're kind of past that, because the biggest part about like if you're viewed as a snitch or not is basically like how does your community treat you, and that's why with Gunna it's like I think a lot of us look at what Gunna did and it's like it's not that bad, but nobody will do a song with Gunna. Like Offset did it, sure. But like almost nobody in terms of the lit artists, like no bigger artists than Gunna are doing songs with Gunna. And that basically makes it Like you told. You effectively told, even if I personally would rather go in the other direction.
How you think Drake cool off doing music with West Coast artists, period?
Nah, he just recently said that he finna pop back out here.
Yeah.
He just recently said he gonna pop back out
He
here.
finna pop back out because he got asked in the interview.